In this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to bench with proper form and optimize as many things as you can on the bench press to get the most out of the lift. A common mistake I see a lot of people make is that they're laying too far up on the bench, and the reason that's bad is because when you unrack the bar, you're not going to be able to bench it because you're going to be hitting a bunch of things. It's going to be sloppy. You don't have an empty plane to bench through. Another mistake is that people are laying too far down on the bench, so when they unrack it, they have to move it such a great distance that when it comes to heavier weight, they're not going to be able to do that. And it also makes it difficult if you fail a rep for the spotter to help you up, because a lot of times he's physically not going to be able to, and you're going to have to do the roll of shame or make the plates fall off each side. So essentially you have to find the right spot on the bench that's not too high or not too low, so you can unrack it and move it the minimum distance possible and be able to comfortably bench without hitting anything. Another mistake a lot of people make is that they'll just pick up the bar and unrack it right away without paying attention to where they're holding it, and that causes them to pick up the bar unevenly. So before you unrack the bar, make sure that you're holding the bar evenly and that your hands are in the exact same spot on each side. What I like to do is I like to put my pinkies right inside the knurling every single time. Another very crucial mistake people do is that they'll just casually lay down on the bench, completely relaxed, and just unrack the bar. You want to have your shoulder blades pinched down and back, and the way you do that is you retract your scapula and also try to bring it down to bring it to your lower back and arch as much as you can. So as you see here, I'm going to grab the bar in the same spot that I always hold it, pinkies inside the knurlings, and right now I'm completely relaxed, and as you can see I'm trying to find a sweet spot, and boom, there you go. I slide up against the bench, I retract my scapula, and I pinch my shoulder blades down and back, and then I'm perfectly tight. So this is the improper setup. Shoulder blades not pinched down and back, and here's the proper setup. Here's a side-by-side of the correct setup and the incorrect setup. Now the correct setup is on the right, and as you could tell, the range of motion is significantly less. So there's less of a distance that you actually have to push the bar through, making the lift easier. Another common mistake people make is that they bench perpendicularly to the floor, so they let the bar directly down without any arc. So as you can see here, I'm doing it wrong. I'm letting the bar directly down, and that's flaring my elbows, giving me unwanted pressure on my shoulders, and I'm just getting less power. Now here you can see that I'm tucking my elbows in. Now this gives me more tricep activation. It reduces stress on my shoulders, and I'm able to push with more power, and I'm also pushing the bar in that direction instead of perpendicular to the floor, and that ties in with leg drive that I'm about to show later on in the video. And this is how not to use leg drive. This is completely wrong. A lot of people bench with their feet just completely relaxed. They're not playing any role. They're just sloppy. They're all over the place. They don't know where to put them. They're just not doing anything. A lot of people like to bench with their feet up in the air, which is even worse. So to incorporate leg drive, you want to have your feet planted firmly on the floor, and you want to have your legs tight. Now, everything's tight, and as you're lowering the bar, as soon as it hits your chest and you press up, you tense up your legs and you drive them into the floor as hard as you possibly can. Now your feet are not actually going to move because they can't move anywhere because there's a floor in the way, but just because you're pushing down so hard, that's going to create power and help you incorporate your whole body into the bench press. It's also very important to get your timing down right. If you use leg drive before you actually push, that's going to mess it up. You want to have it as soon as you push the bar. That's the second you use leg drive. So here's how it looks like in action. So here's it all put together with some weight on the bar. I'm finding where I put my hands on the bar and making sure it's even. Now I'm pinching my shoulder blades down and back, getting a good setup, unracking. I'm really tight, and I'm lowering it down in an arc, and I'm exploding it off my chest while using leg drive. Now here's it with 225, and my leg drive is going to become more apparent here. You'll actually be able to see my legs tense up the second that I actually push the bar, because the heavier the weight gets, the more noticeable the leg drive will be for most people. So I'm setting up, getting a proper arch. See, it's taking me a few tries because I want to have an optimal setup. Unrack and leg drive. You'll see my legs tense up. So yeah, that's basically, those are my tips on benching. That's how I discovered to be the most optimal benching technique for me, and I recommend you guys try it out and let me know what you think.